Welcome back, guys. Coach Barrick here, Equity Podcast, giving you the tools to be fit for life. We're talking about getting to sleep faster at night. So, over the years, I've always had trouble sleeping, getting to sleep. And, there's days where it's better, worse. But in general, I would really struggle getting to sleep. And it was annoying, right? Because, you're trying to sleep, you're just laying there and restless and rolling around and whatever. And when we're thinking about health and fitness and wellness and expanding our health span, expanding our lifespan, trying to be fit for life, getting that sleep in is such a big way to improve your health. So there's something there's a lot of things that you can do to help get yourself to sleep faster. But the main thing I want to talk about today is actually journaling. Don't turn off the video yet. Don't turn it off yet. And people think about that. They hear it and they're like, oh, here we go, journaling. It's so dumb, whatever. But this is the issue that we're trying to solve, is what happens for me when I'm sleeping, when I'm trying to go to sleep beforehand, is I like to shower before I sleep. And that is time for you, like, it's relaxing, it's warm, and I get a lot of thoughts when I'm in the shower. I literally shower thoughts. That is a thing, and it does happen, especially for me. And what happens is I get a shower and then I get right into bed, or very, very quickly, and I just had all these ideas just pop in my head. So now I'm in bed, I'm trying to sleep, and I'm just thinking about, man, I need to remember that idea. Oh, I need to remember this idea. Oh, I need to, oh man, and then, oh, but I had this, and then thinking about what are the steps to get there, and now all the gears are turning. I'm just constantly thinking about it. So what's going to happen? I'm just going to keep rolling to my side, rolling over, trying to just lay in there, staring at the ceiling. I'm not going to be able to get to sleep because my brain is working. It's not relaxing. It's not ramping down. It's ramping up. And this is one of the biggest things that people can struggle with when they're trying to get to sleep, is that they're thinking. They're thinking so much. They're thinking about other things. They're thinking about what they need to do tomorrow. What are those meetings that we need to do? And it's just all in the head, and it's not letting you relax and fall asleep. So how can we counteract this? And I'm going to tell you where I'm at, but it wasn't like, oh, I just made this switch and this is what I started doing. This was a progression. So the first thing I started doing is, one, I realized what was happening, is being aware. Like, awareness is that is the starting point, right? If you're trying to get better at jump rope, but you don't understand what you're doing with the jump rope, if you're not aware of where your hands are, where your feet are, how you're jumping, where you're breathing, if you're not aware, if you're not looking at it, you're just jumping, you're not going to get better at it. You got to be aware first. You got to think about what's affecting me. So I realized that I'd get all these ideas in the shower. So the first thing that I started doing was I would just keep a piece of paper and pen by the bed. And the reason I use that instead of a phone is because when you turn that phone on, we don't want the light in our eyes, and that's not good for sleep either. So ideally, we're not looking at the phone. So piece of paper, and I would write it down. And that would be the thing. And I'd wake up in the middle of the night sometimes and write something down, or I'd get, 20 minutes in to try and fall asleep and write something down. And that helped me relax. Like, oh, I don't have to worry about remembering this thing now. I can relax. I don't need to worry about it anymore. But those were just like ideas, or tasks that I had to do. But what would come up sometimes is something that was more complex, right? An idea that was a little more complex, or maybe I had a bad day, or something else was just on my mind. Well, I didn't really have anywhere. I wasn't writing it down. It wasn't an idea. It wasn't something that I needed to do later. So I started doing some journaling. It's called the 5-minute journal. and it takes about 5 minutes to do. You do it in the morning and you do it in the evening. 5 minutes. And I think there's 3 questions in the morning and 2 questions in the evening. And that's what I started with. And in the evenings, or maybe it's vice versa, maybe it's 2 in the morning, 3, it doesn't matter. And it's just answer these same questions every day. Just answer them. And that was a really good way to get started. It let me just kind of, like, whatever was in my head, it just let me get it out. Oh man, my nutrition has been bad. I'm a little bit heavier than I wanted to be. That shirt was feeling a little tight, or I really wish I would have spent more time with Elle. Yesterday I was kind of, out in left field and just wasn't there, right? And it let me kind of realize some of the things that were in my head and bothering me. Now I get to write it out. I'm like, oh, putting this down, getting it out of my head and onto the paper. It's going to make you more aware of what you're doing, what you're feeling. And now, when I go down to lay down, I can start relaxing a little bit more, right? I don't have all these ideas just swooshing in my head. Then over the years, I realized that, like, I can't do the morning one all the time because of the schedule, so I just moved it to the evening. So now all I do is evening journaling. It's before I go to bed. I shower, journal before I go to bed. And the questions have changed. I realized what are the ones that I like doing. What have I added? Like, I just added something, I think a month ago to maybe a couple weeks ago to the journal. So I have these 5 questions that are prompted, and I just write them out, and I just get things off of my mind, and then it just lets me relax and calm down. Excuse me, sorry. So I've been doing this for over a year now. So now I have all those past 2 years of journaling that I can go back and look at and, reflect on. It's super helpful. But my time to sleep now is crazy low. I used to always have to, I start on my back, because sleeping on your back is the ideal place to sleep. That's where you're going to get the best sleep. Get deep sleep and arm sleep, and you're not going to have imbalances in your shoulders by laying on your side, and now your shoulder hurts or your neck hurts now. So sleeping on the back is really good, but I had a hard time doing that. For me personally, if I was on my stomach, I would always fall asleep faster. And then eventually, in the middle of the night, I would turn and get some sleep on my back. I don't do that anymore. Or if I do have to go to my stomach, it's probably because I was drinking and I'm having trouble falling asleep because of that. So I fall asleep on my back within 10, 15 minutes, and I sleep through the night. I get to sleep faster simply by just putting things on paper and processing my thoughts and getting stuff out of my head, so that I'm not just laying there thinking about it. I know it can sound silly if you've never done it before, but if you're that person that just lays at night just thinking about things, just think about getting some ideas off. So if I were to suggest, hey, this is what you should do, or there's a couple different places. One is the 5-year journal. So it's a journal, and it has 5 lines for each day of the year. All right, so 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 365, and that's the journal. So that journal is made to be used for 5 years. So day 1, you're going to write something on number 1. Day 2, write something. So that first year, you're going to write just one sentence, on that day. And then when you go back through that next year, you're going to start on 2, and you'll write it. And you'll be able to see what you wrote last year. Write that out. 3, 4, 5. So you'll be able to see 5 years of things that you're writing to yourself, things that you're writing, right? And do you think there will be some patterns in that? Probably. During the holidays, during the summers, during the spring, fall, we have a cadence in life, and you'll start seeing some some patterns. And even just doing the other journaling, you're probably going to start seeing some patterns. One of the things that I write about all the time is what can I do better that day? And 80% of the time it's drink more water. And I still got to get better at that. So 5-year journal, really good place. The next one, that 5-minute journal. It's a little bit more time, right? Instead of just one line, you're up to 5 questions for it. So there might be a little bit more there, but you're going to get a little bit more off your chest, more out of your mind. The next piece would be adapting it to you, is making it what's going to work for you. So, like I said, I've taken the 5-minute journal and kind of condensed it into my just evening, and then I've added some stuff on it. So, for me personally, what I do is, what am I grateful for? What went great today? What I can do better today? Then I have an area for just general thoughts. I just write down thoughts, and what's on my head? What am I what just keeps popping up? And I just write out some thoughts. Sometimes it's very little. Sometimes I don't even write anything there. Sometimes we'll get there. Sometimes I don't write anything under the thoughts. Sometimes it's like half a page. I just have something that's really irking me, and that's can really help me. Those are probably the days when I have that half page where I probably would have had a hard time sleeping, but now that I got it down, I was able to go. And then the final thing that I just added was, and this is more on the business, or not on the business, but like work side. What are the top 3 things that I accomplished today? Not like what are the tasks that I need to do, but what are the top 3? What are the most important things that I did today? What made the most gain? And just write those down. These are the top ones. And then for tomorrow, what are the top 3 things that I should probably be doing tomorrow? And that's going to set me up for success on the next day. Instead of just having, I'm bouncing all around this task, this task, this task. I'm like, these are the 3 things I should probably be doing tomorrow. This is my main focus. Let's get these 3 done, and then we can do the other ones. Right? Today, it was the podcast. I got to get that done. The other thing is, and that's what I do now. Every night before I go to bed, I shower, I get into bed, take my contacts out, I journal, write that stuff down. It takes about 5 minutes. That's probably average. Sometimes it's a lot shorter, sometimes it's longer, depending how much is in my head. And then I read. And that's my routine. It definitely helps me calm down, bring me down, like deregulate. Get those thoughts out of my head, get some stuff off of my chest. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's like, I didn't have anything better today. I didn't write what I was grateful for today. I didn't have any thoughts today. I only had 2 top 3. I only had 2 for my top 3, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just working towards better. There are days where I don't journal, right? We went to the water park on Sunday. It was a long day. We were there. We had a blast, like tons of fun. But it was a long day, and I was really tired. And I didn't journal that day, and that's okay. There are days that I don't read either, or there's days that I read a single page. That's okay. Even if I just write, I'm grateful for this, that's all I'm doing today. That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just work towards better. So, like I said, if you're that person that is just having a hard time falling asleep because you just got things in your head just bopping around, think about just writing it down. Get some prompts if you're not sure what to write, start with some prompts. What are you grateful for? What went well? What could we do better? And get some general thoughts. And again, you don't have to put anything for that if you don't have anything bopping around. It really, really helped me, and I really noticed this the past 2 weeks. Is how quickly I've been going to sleep, and how I haven't had to sleep on my stomach. It was really, really interesting. I was like, oh wait, I haven't been on my stomach in a long time. So super helpful. And I think my sleep and my recovery has improved because of it. I don't think it has, for sure. All right. So if you think this would help somebody, share it with them. I hope it was helpful for you. Even if you don't do it, it's just a tool in the toolbox. Sometimes, people aren't ready. I've tried to journal before. Like I started it like years and years ago. I tried to do it and didn't really stick. But I came back to it and I found the one that worked for me. Like there's a lot of different options out there. Try a bunch of different ones. So if you think this was helpful, share it with somebody else. If you have any questions about journaling, shoot me a message. I'd love to talk about it. What specific ones I use, or hey, do you have any examples or whatever? Shoot me a message. Be love to talk to you about it. And that's it. I really appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to put a tool in that toolbox to be fit for life. Thank you so much. Cheers.